Whoops. There we are. And here we are as Perry himself. The doctor. Perry Doctor. This will be like my fifth run without killing a single shambling round if it doesn't happen this time. Okay, so we got some curse, which is good. The alien sidearm, which is bad, and we got curse bullets, which is good. Rough start. Extra damage is going to be useful. It's going to be something to work towards. It's definitely an amazing thing to get early. I feel like, though, I'm starting off a little behind the... whatever you are. This is my first time getting the freaking thing as the paradox. That's hilarious. That's hilaradox. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. I would like to do that game, but I would like even more to get 1,000,000 keys on this floor. So... ooh, the ability to steal. Ooh, 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 ooh. And the ability to make money off of blood. 2 abilities I would like to possess. So my plan is pretty obvious. Gain the ability to spend enough money to get the ability to steal, right? Right. And then use that on the key. Hopefully we can get some hearts on this run. Use it to get the key to gain a little bit of curse and a little bit of extra damage. And then a bunch of other keys drop so I can actually get the chests on this floor. But as long as we get some hearts, we should be able to do the obvious stuff. I mean, if we get 45, we can do the game. Or if we get 45, we can do the thingy. I don't really love the alien sidearm as a boss weapon. Unsynergized. Dude, it must suck to have the alien side. Like, if you're new to this game, the alien sidearm is like, it has retained its uselessness. Like, I'm gonna do something here. We're gonna use a little bit of it for a single room. If it's gone when we get there, that's fine. It's definitely gonna be better than just using the rogue special, but the answer is who much better? Yeah, it's gone. We went 2 rooms. That's okay. It's almost, you know, like we were just talking about how shitty and unimpressive it is, so I don't feel a tremendous loss. There we go. Give me those fucking hearts. I'm working on my Batman. My Christian Bale Batman, not Adam West Batman. That'd be the worst impression ever done. I guess since we don't really care about the ammo, we should fire it rapidly. Dude, why? It's apparently much greater DPS. Uncharged. It just doesn't... You know, it feels like the ammo waste kind of makes it not matter about the DPS. But right now, it's probably best to try to get this guy killed as fast as possible. As fastfully as possible. There we go. That was good. There's another key. There's a bad, terrible gun. That means nothing to me. Okay, so here's what we do. We buy this, of course. We use this, of course. We steal this, of course. So we're at 2 curse now, of curse. We get 80 cents from this lady. 80 from the lady. And then we sit at a smooth, cool, baby smooth 100. We do this first. We do this second. We gotta check for secrets too. Come on, I want him to say something else rude. That was weird. He seemed genuinely pleasant. Got a little impatient there, stupidly. It's something that you can use. Check for a secret, check for a secret. That's also something you can use. Is it up here? Then I mean, I have to. Okay. I don't have to try it there. Now I have to try it there. It's the only place it can be. Okay, and it was, and I wish I had saved a key. But we can make 40 more cents, and we can destroy this little bad boy for nothing. This is fine though. That was a great get. This is a much better first floor than last time. Last time was just like, here's something great, don't touch it. Here's something that would make your run amazing. Don't even fucking think about it. You'll be more upset if you think about it. And here I am thinking about it. So we're at plus 20% damage. We can keep working on that. We can't steal on this floor, but we can keep our eye open for, or we can't steal from Bellow on this floor. The key is amazing. Woo, man. Okay, so I think this is going to be a solid, safe, and smooth run. The old triple S. Oh yeah, there was something I wanted to talk about just because it's silly to me. So the the 75th new character, or the 75th character for Smash Brothers Ultimate was announced today. That character is a Fire Emblem's character. Because of this, people are furious. Let me explain why. Wow, that was dumb. So there are already a handful of Fire Emblem characters. All of them are sword users. Pretty much. There's one guy who's like not just a sword user, but is still a sword user. And now they're adding another guy who uses swords, but not just uses swords, from Fire Emblem. People are like, why don't they add a horse guy? Why don't they add a pure mage character? Why don't, et cetera, et cetera? Why don't they not add from Fire Emblem? Like, I think people tend to forget that, for one, Smash Brothers exists as a promotional tool. It's a game that, stands on its own, but it exists kind of in this limbo state of also being used as a way to promote upcoming stuff. And Fire Emblem Three Houses is about to release its first DLC, so the character you're playing at is from that game. Surprise, surprise. Ooh, shit, don't even go in there. Surprise, surprise, they include him in this extremely popular franchise. And people are like, we already got Robin and Corrin and Marth and Crom and whatever. And I just want to be like, and maybe this is insensitive. Maybe this is the wrong way to discuss things like this. But I just want to be like, shut the fuck up, who cares? If you don't include the Fire Emblem characters, there are still 68 characters. And, they could have maybe had somebody that you wanted. But what if they had somebody that you wanted and it turned out to that character is an unplayable mess? Or it's exactly opposite of the playstyle that you want it to be, or whatever. There's no, besides you developing the character and then the character being included, there's no way to fucking make it perfect. I think people feel betrayed because there's been a lot of characters from other platforms. There's a lot of, there's Xbox characters, and I think Banjo-Kazooie is owned by Microsoft or whatever. There's guys from other franchises. There's Terry from King of the Fighters or whatever. That really got people excited for the possibility of it being something totally different. But, if you wanted to be surprised, I believe that they did a perfect job. They did something that no one expected. Another character from a franchise that is pretty prominently represented in the game. What I still feel, and I think I will always feel, is dude, just don't play the character. I know that's reductive to a degree. I know that that's people don't want to just be told don't be upset or whatever. But man, you gotta sometimes just don't be upset or whatever. It's okay if they add characters that aren't for you. There's still a bunch of characters that you can play as. There's still a ridiculous number of characters that you can play as. Wow. Let's get this one. Not that amazing, but good. Let's go unlock this before I fucking do anything else. Feel any other pressure. Green, green. Okay, well, we got some stuff to destroy. Could have been a Mimic G, but I think this run is going incredibly well. How's it going, Squatchy? I'm excited to see how many Rufus is utilized on your stream. Do you want to do a little bit of Monster Hunter after this one here? Or are you still working right now? I'm never sure when things end. At your place, at your gig. Right? I put on Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. And that's what I was like playing while I was recording that. And I put it on because I knew I wasn't actually going to play the game because I've forgotten more about the game than I remember. But like I was getting into like fights with drowners and all kinds of random shit, and I was like, this game's really fun. And like that's why it ended up the clip ended up going for so long. But yeah, cut it down to a 2-second loop. I think I want Pit of the Pit Lord of the Amulet. I don't think I want to go to the rat though. Firing with flair. Firing with flair. Okay, I gotta finish this run though, but and it is a little early on in the run still, but shouldn't take too long, hopefully. Here's hoping. Wow. Maybe on that note I can actually use some better weapons than my starter. Doodle-doodle-doo. Yeah, this one has a lot of shots. A lot of ammo. Dang. You-do-do. Oh shit, dog. It's the cram dangler herself. Himself. Probably him, right? I think he was the character was male in Zelda. So he's probably male here. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of ammo and a lot of treasure chests. The fuck? Now, it's usually pretty stupid to use that with that, but I have a reason. I won't explain why, but I have a reason. The reason is I actually liked this gun as a room clearer, so we'll use it for a little bit here. I never played A Link to the... Well, I did play A Link to the Past. I don't remember it because I played it a long time ago and I never beat it. Ooh. Dang it! I actually wanted to get a 3rd level of Curse because we have Curse bullets. Alright, let's just do it. Let's fucking do it. We got this. Even if it's a snake. It's not the snake, but even if it was, we got it. What? Those things don't fall for it? Whoa, he spins around fast. Oof. Are you kidding me? I just didn't move. Dang, 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 dang. That was dumb. That was right at the end of the fight, too. No thanks. Link's Awakening is greater than Links to the Past? Sure. I'll believe anything you say. I played through A Link's Awakening a million years ago. But, again, no memory, no recollection. I know that, like, the 2D Zeldas are really memorable for a lot of people. They kind of blur together in my head because I played them quickly and I wasn't a huge Zelda fan until Ocarina of Time, and I know that you're not allowed to like Ocarina of Time because Majora's Mask exists, etc., etc. Like, oh wait, I already have 3 Curse, don't I? It's kind of like you're not allowed to like Fallout 3 because New Vegas exists. But I still do. And I'm gonna... Jesus Christ, are you kidding? Oh, that sucks. Because that means the other one also is exactly the same. It's so weird how, like... I don't know. it kind of goes back to what I was saying about Smash Brothers and them adding a character that people are unhappy with. Fandom has this kind of like ownership problem going on right now, where fans feel that the properties they are fans of are theirs, and their demands should be met at all times. Like, and that's silly as hell. This is perfect. Because unless you're creating the stuff, you have no idea why they're balancing things in certain ways. Like, yeah, of course. You don't really understand the minutia that goes into the thought process of everything. That's a terrible item. I should touch it so it doesn't show back up. But to tell other people, and I've heard this before, that their opinion is wrong about a certain game is just like fucking frustrating to me. Right, exactly. Like, just because you didn't like the dungeons in Breath of the Wild doesn't mean that it's like a terrible game and that they've somehow retroactively ruined Zelda or whatever. Like, if your past is damageable, then you're too soft, you're too malleable in that way. If I can it used to be said, like, when those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Transformers Michael Bay movies were coming out, people said like Michael Bay is like ruining their childhood. And it's just kind of like, why is your childhood dependent on a few products? Why did I do that, and how did he not hit me? How does it go back and destroy your retroactively destroy your product that's your childhood, that some shitty new product came out with the same name? That's exactly what it is. It's toxic fandom, and like toxic fandom is like a real problem. I don't know. It's the reason that so many people in like Marvel movies and Star Wars and superhero stuff, just like they have to like go on hiatus from social media after their shit comes out because people that watched a movie and thought it should have happened a different way harass them. Dude, don't do this to me. Okay. Wait a second. Wait one motherfucking second. That's 5 curse. That's perfect. I don't want to steal that because I'll lose my shop. 5 curse is kind of where we want to be right now. It's like, I don't know. So Jackie and I have been watching The Simpsons, right? I'm not a fan of modern Simpsons, but I will forever and always be a fan of 90s Simpsons. Like, late 80s, 90s Simpsons are like, they're great. And nothing in the world can change that. Oh my God, the amount of curve on those freaking bullets was insane. Oh yeah, I know that it doesn't mean that it actually took their childhood and beat the shit out of it or anything like that. But it's the willingness to use that kind of language to discuss it is exactly the problem. The willingness to be that attached to like media properties that it feels like it defines their character to them is I think fundamentally harmful. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I love. There's a lot of TV and movies and books and video games and stuff that I really enjoyed growing up, but I don't ever want to be defined by my fandom to them. And that's, I guess, a big difference between me and some people. Some people are the anime that they watch. They are the TV shows that they watch. They exist as versions of those things. Oh, that's a good get. And I want that stuff to be like things I can talk to and communicate to people about, or like interact with people about. But I don't ever want to be defined by the purchases I made or the media that I consumed. Like, that's fucking weird. That's like not having a freaking personality at all. That's like having a series of receipts, you know? Like, I don't know. It's nice that people get passionate about stuff, but it fucking sucks that they get so passionate they're willing to harass actual human beings over it. See, that's kind of even what I was like. One of the things I was talking about. I liked the recent movies. I liked all of them for very different reasons, and I think that people tend to glamorize the past movies more than they're actually. You know, they think that the quality of them is greater than they actually are because they have memory of them being great. In their brain, they're this great thing that they define chunks of their life by, but they're really problematic. Like, the only Star Wars movie that I think that, oh my god, wow, I made it, that I think is like a real, like, nearly a masterpiece is The Empire Strikes Back. I think every other one of them had some huge problems. But, you know, that's not how people remember them. Oh, god damn, that sucked. I should have blinked there. But I think superhero movies, I think Disney movies and live action remakes and all that shit, and like all of it, I don't think that I find a reason for the live action remakes to exist, but I'm not going to spend my time. Oh, wait, I have infinite keys. God, I already forgot about that. I'm not going to spend my time going online harassing the cast of Lion King 2. Like, have you gone back and watched the original trilogy recently? I like ask that of a lot of people who defend the original trilogy as this like I get it. I think the original trilogy is respected because it kind of came out of nowhere more than it just is like a perfect piece of medium. But there's a lot of fucking garbage and wasted screen time in those movies. And if you watch them without just sitting there thinking about how you remember what it was like to watch those movies as a child or whatever, you'll kind of see that there's a lot of puppets and very obvious character design based on merchandising for the future. There's a lot of like goofball shit that really just kind of feels like it's there so that they can appeal to as wide of an audience as possible. The lore is like threadbare early on and then overly analyzed to the point of it being like made boring in the prequels, like where they focus on like tax laws and stuff and trade embargoes and shit like that. But again, I think people are willing to overlook that because they have nostalgia colored glasses. Like, I don't know. It's just always kind of weird to me that people can be like, the new movies suck. The original and the prequels are great. First movie of the prequels sucked and was boring. The second movie of the prequels, I don't remember. The third one was pretty good. The original trilogy, the first one is just kind of nonsensical. There's people witnessing their planets getting exploded, and they're just like, oh, another day at the office. Luke's parents got killed, and he's just like, time to go on an adventure. And like, there's no, and Return of the Jedi is just fucking Ewoks for a majority of the movie. These cutesy little dumb little 80s toy characters, while bowl cut Luke Skywalker is suddenly a, you know, wise sage-like figure talking his dad out of evil. It's just, they're not as good as people remember them to be, but people have... Okay, so that's 7 curse right there. Right? 7 curse means we're going to start getting jammed bosses. Which, do I care? Kind of. We don't really have great boss weapons, but am I going to do anything about it? Kind of. I'm going to use up this gun and then sell it when I'm done. There was some cool shit, but I really think the only movie that is just like right and great and as close to problem free as a major movie can be is Empire Strikes Back. And so when you actually think about the quality of every Star Wars movie and don't think about Star Wars as an idea, every one of them, including the trilogies, are pretty problematic. Like, yeah, that was just in the first, like, 10 minutes of Return of the Jedi. That was over so quick. The beginning of Return of the Jedi could have been the end of Empire Strikes Back, and that would have been a perfect movie. And then you would have had a kind of bad Return of the Jedi, and a kind of bad A New Hope, with this amazing Empire Strikes Back in the middle. Like, I don't know, man. I think people, they want it to be this perfect, magnificent creature, and it never was that. But they're willing to defend to the death their delusion that it was. I don't know. It's also just easy. It's so easy to hate on stuff that's in some way related to old stuff. It's so easy to do. It's easy to hate on the internet because whatever your opinion is, there's someone who wants to bandwagon hate. Like, yeah, I mean, I grew up loving Star Wars. I read Star Wars books like fucking crazy. I mean, I read... God, there was one book that was huge, and it was pretty close to the plot of The Force Awakens. They made another Death Star, was the point of the whole book. And I remember thinking, like, man, do they need another Death Star? And I think it was called, like, Star Killer Base or something like that. And I remember, you know, Luke trained Leia and Ben Solo, or Leia and Han Solo's twins, who were strong in the Force, who I was expecting to see in The Force Awakens. Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly what they did in The Force Awakens. They said, Death Star's good, let's bring back a Death Star. In Return of the Jedi, or what was the last one called? Rise of Skywalker. They kind of did a similar thing where they're like, J.J. Abrams is powered by nostalgia. His main driving force for making movies is to make things like other things were made. Like Rise of Skywalker. What? All right, well, we are very, very happy with all of that. So now we need jammed enemies all over. So I don't even care, actually, that we got potentially jammed bosses now. But I don't know. I feel like I'm like rehashing similar conversations that I've had on the stream before. But I don't believe that it's fair for fans to belittle human beings or berate human beings because of shit that happened on screen. Whoa. God, I need to get rid of Table Tech rockets. I'm gonna blow myself up. If absolutely anything, just like don't let your personality, yourself, your identity be defined by media properties that you didn't create. Because it's always going to go in a direction other than what you expect it to. Because you didn't create it. Like, make your fanfic if you want. Oh my god, these bullet mods are good. If you really want to make. That's very true. After a certain point, you know, once it's out in the world, you got to pull your hands off of it. But still, you should only be defined by who you are and the things that you're constantly doing. But you absolutely should not be defined by other people's creations. Like, it's just, whoa, that was close. It's just kind of lame, you know? It just, you're setting yourself up for disappointment by having by having like an identity that other people constructed. I really like how often keys drop once you don't need them anymore. I love it. Mwah. Yeah, of course. Unhealthy, like, it's... Oh, shit. I gotta text Jackie something. Needed to grab her tax information so I can do taxes and have that done. I don't really like doing taxes, but I like being done with taxes. And there's only one way to get to that point. Oh yeah, I just, like, any media property, like, it's like, it's totally fine to appreciate stuff. It's actually great. If people didn't, there wouldn't be stuff. But you gotta know when to pull yourself away from it. Oh my god, I need to... Okay, the next time one of those guys, those summoners, appears, we gotta let them live. Because we can use those to fuel our thing. Oh god. Yeah, no, that's good. I want this for some reason. Stupid fucking game. I mean, I've thought before about, like, getting a tattoo based on some property that I appreciated. And I've even thought about, like, maybe I should get something from Gungeon. Get it in big blocky pixels that are hard to see because I already got squares and stuff all over my arms. It'd be easy to wrap that in. But, like, I don't own Gungeon. The next Gungeon can come out and be all about, like, oh god, let this guy live. Don't kill him. Could be all about, you know, sodomizing animals or something. Like, I don't want to, like, I don't know what the future of Gungeon holds. I don't want to try to put any of that on my body or as my person. Like, I am not it. I can't. I will never, let myself be defined. If I make like a book and I love the way it turned out, there's a chance that I could get something permanent related to that. I really like having tattoos that have no inherent meaning. That way, when people ask about it, I can just say, like, it doesn't mean anything. It's pure design. It's about the aesthetics, not the history or not the interpretation. It's not, I don't know. People don't like that, though. They don't like hearing that. Whoa. Wow, is this thing extremely, extremely strong? I mean, I know I got some damage up going on. Alright, summon some guys. I want both of them to be summoning little red boys like crazy. No! Damn it. Oof. Summon again. Summon again. Summon again. One more. One more, and then we'll take this guy out. As soon as I get ammo for this gun, I find the boss. As soon as I have to burn off some of this gun. Dude, I still haven't seen the fucking a single shambling round on this run. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. Wow, that guy is like Boris the Bullet Dodger, but tables instead. You do 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 do. I would still like an actual boss weapon. That'd be neat. I have the one, but it's like... There's the secret. Boom, 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 boom. It's so impermanent. I got a feeling that it's the Wallmonger this time, which is actually kind of great. Can be kind of great. Oh, I was wrong. I was wronger. You know what? I'm just going to do that because I want to, dang. Well, that was really quick. This is the other gun that looks like this. Totally worth. Yeah, we're selling that immediately. Selling that immediately too. I might get Table Tech Shotgun. I think we're definitely going to drop Table Tech rockets. It's like too dangerous. Table Tech Shotgun is at least useful. Not extremely useful. It's not even useful enough to be considered like worth 52 casings, but what am I gonna do with this money? Nothing. There's an old saying, if you love something, let it go or whatever. And I think that's how people should approach fandom. Like, allow things to move in directions you didn't want to do. Rise of the Skywalker had some problems, right? I won't say that it's like a perfect piece of media or anything like that. It had some pretty fucking obvious problems. The script wasn't that great. The characters kind of feel like, it feels like over the course of the films, we've kind of barely gotten to know them, at least some of them. And they're these heroes we're expect to like admire, but at the same time, they're people that we haven't spent the appropriate amount of time getting to know. They wanted such a big ensemble cast of characters that it feels like we're just supposed to like them and root for them instead of us having a legitimate reason to. But that also, I think a big thing that led to that being the case was like switching directors, not having the story fucking written out from the start. Like, there needs to be some stuff decided on the direction of the entire franchise if you know you're going to make all three movies before you make the first one. There's got to be some, if you love it, fuck it. There's got to be some awareness of what's going to happen. And even if you do different directors and stuff like that, they need to be able to say like, hey, this is our endpoint. You have to include things that lead to our endpoint here. But what it felt like was the first movie came out and it was nostalgia driven or whatever. The second movie came out as a direct kind of condemnation of allowing the movie to just be nostalgia driven. It felt like The Last Jedi was supposed to be the antithesis of The Force Awakens. It was supposed to be a letting go, a moving on. Like the whole point of one of the main characters was like the importance of releasing yourself from the past, like not being beholden to what was. And then the next movie was like, oh no, the past is the only thing that matters. Like, it's not about where you came from, it's about what you do. And then the next movie is like, I mean, I guess they kind of tried to say both sides of it. Where you came from matters, but it's also about what you do with the power you've been given by where you came. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little spoilery-ish. I'm not gonna talk about specifics as to what happened or who was what, but something that The Last Jedi did that I think was important is they kind of teased the idea of a resurgence of Jedi. That, the Force had awoken and was going to be found in many places throughout the universe. And it didn't matter what your bloodline was. You had the chance. Right. You had the chance to be powerful in the Force because it comes from within. It comes from the individual, not their history. And that was basically pretty much undone by Rise of Skywalker. So while I still think the movie was enjoyable and worth a watch, I do think that they allowed themselves to have mixed messages. And the reason that they backpedaled on that shit was because fans screamed against The Last Jedi, like arguing the point that it was actually arguing. Like, that it is time to move on from the past. It's time to be wholly in the present. It's time to stop being beholden to what has already come. But then, they got J.J. Abrams back for the third one. He's like, man, I really like the past, though. I really like old stuff. Oh yeah, no, that's what I was saying. They never they never knew where they were going with the first one. They never knew where they were going to end. And that was true with the original movies, but they did a much better job of unifying them because they had one person calling the shots. And I don't think that George Lucas is a flawless auteur. I've already talked about the problems I have with the movies as a whole, but like, I think that there's a huge tendency to forgive. Oh man, I thought there was ammo somewhere. I don't know, man. The consistency was hugely off in the sequel trilogy. It felt like one movie that was like all about like let's focus on the fun that is Star Wars. Let's focus on it just being like this wild and crazy ride. It's a theme park ride. It's an attraction. And then the second one was like, let's let Star Wars grow up. And the third one was like, well, we're gonna have fun, but like let's admit that, you know, some things are serious, but like we're still trying to have fun. Like, right. I'm you know, I think there were a lot of people who were pretty certain that Star Wars was going to succeed, even just with the script. But the script is left, like, just go watch A New Hope again. The script is left with a bunch of vague, super unanswered questions because they hoped that there would be sequels and they didn't want to answer everything. But it definitely doesn't fucking know that it's coming back. Whoa, that was weird. That's why they had everybody, you know, touting galactic medals and considering the universe saved at the end of A New Hope. Everyone except Chewie, of course. They did mention, or they did reference that in the new movie. Andron, I know what you want to talk about. Or I got a guess at least. How are you? I knew it. Oh man, I started off this whole thing talking about that. I think people should just what I said earlier was play the characters that you love. Every new character that comes out doesn't have to be the ideal. You can't have a million Genos or a million Isaacs from Golden Sun or whatever. Whoops! What hit me? I was not even looking. Oh god, that's amazing. Ooh, all these mini jammed guys are going to be great for my damage. I just kind of think it's funny. Honestly. I 100% think it's just hilarious that anybody in the world is upset about the 75th character in a game not being who they wanted it to be. It just, like, super doesn't change the rest of the game. Like, I don't want any more of that room there. I thought you meant blank in terms of Gungeon. Not fill in the blank. I think people need to remember this is something I said earlier, and I still think it's true. They need to remember that part of Smash Brothers, maybe, and this is a different argument, a different thing to be upset about, but part of Smash Brothers is using the popularity of the franchise as leverage for free advertising. People are absolutely forgetting the fact that same day they announced new DLC for Three Houses. They pop in pop in some stuff for Monster Hunter right after there's a Monster Hunter Switch game announced or whatever. Like, the game exists as a commercial to some degree. Like, and it always has, ever since it started being super popular. I mean, Smash Brothers made Fire Emblem popular in the US. Before that, it was not discussed. When people were like, who the fuck is Roy? The game started selling. Like, I think, again, people tend to take ownership and they say, this is not what Smash Brothers is in my mind, so it shouldn't be this. But it always has been. They just don't want to believe it. Like, Smash Brothers in my mind is a party game. Smash Brothers in my mind is a fighting game. Smash Brothers in my mind is X. Like, Smash Brothers is a fucking business. And the things they're doing to appeal to certain people is at the expense of other things. Like, yeah. And the first game was, they weren't sure about a sequel. They never knew how well it was going to do. So they left a lot open. This has been one big loop of a conversation in a cool way. I actually really like the way that it's gone down. It's kind of neat. I don't have a lot in the way of blanks. I don't have a lot in the way of good weapons. Woo! Everybody thinks it's one thing, but it's really a bunch of different things for both of them. But how are you otherwise, Andron? I will say, and I've said it before in this video, Sakurai is the best at surprise, dude. He will always keep people on their toes, guessing wrong, like fucking crazy. Nobody guessed this. Oh, nice. Make sure you get some way to raise the gaming laptop off the ground or off the surface, because those things get fucking hot. They're also the loudest commercial product on the planet. I had a gaming laptop when I was in college, and it was just like, oh, I was so close to getting hit. Ooh, that was so closer to getting hit. Kill him. Nice. Check Dick Sword after the run. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see what's on the old disc. You look like Andros. Only I have the brains to rule the Lilat system. Oh yeah, I remember your fan would fucking... I could hear it like it was shaking the microphone. Yo, did I spit on my computer laughing? I spit on my monitor. Now you will feel true pain. I really think that Nintendo should just take a break from Star Fox and F-Zero until they have a killer. I mean, I think they kind of have. But people asking for those games, should stop asking. Anyway, what's that? 269? Don't mind if I do.